do a what-if scenarios. You know, there was a period where there was no dividend distribution. There was a dividend distribution tax, then it went away, then it came back. There was a time when there was no dividend distribution tax. A government company was being privatized. That government company had hundreds of crores of cash, unlike because of a profitable company. The buyer said that in my predictions, I will assume a special dividend payout. Okay? So whatever financing cost I am incurring, if I borrow 100 rupees, I'll get 20 rupees here and I'll pay off the 20 rupees. This transaction, I think, was completed in Jan or something like that. Come February, dividend distribution tax became applicable, and by the time the special dividend was paid, dividend distribution tax was applicable. And your whole financial plan went for toss. Whole financial plan was for toss. So, when you do a valuation or in a context of an acquisition, you please identify those 5 or 10 items which will have the biggest impact and do a what-if scenario on that. All the government concessions that are given for sales tax, excise, okay? If you set up an investment which is intrinsic viability is dependent on that incentive, that business is not viable in the long run. Have you been to a place or an industrial estate where such incentives have gone away? How many factories are locked today? How many of these factories are locked? So a business which is dependent on this is not a business to get into. Loss of carry forward. Now, how many people don't know about Section 79? Private sector companies, if I buy, I don't get the loss if I buy more than 51%, or 51% don't continue. That is the logic. Many a time private sector companies, you take the loss and you say, I will get that carry forward benefit and I will pay lesser tax. So please, as a valuer, ensure that you have someone has looked into these matters, that the tax calculation is based on the principle that the ownership has changed. And this is also critical when you do international acquisition, because there the regulations will be very, very different. You might suddenly go on a certain basis and there the regulation will be different. There instead of 51% it might be just 10%. Or that rule may not be applicable and you will get the carry forward benefits. Increase in operating cost, labor cost, wage parity. Pfizer acquired Park Davis International. How many years did it take them to make the merger in India? It took them multiple years to make the merger in India because the wage scales of these two companies were very, very different. If I were to merge, then I had to pay the higher wages to the company where the wage scales were lower. So they had to actually wait for a time where a lot of people on natural attrition basis, resignations, etc., went away from the high cost, and then when they got the parity between that. And for those 2 years, they had duplication. They had duplication on this thing. Increase in stamp duty cost. most of the industrial estate or many of the contracts have a change in control clause. You know, MIDC, earlier people used to sell the MIDC plot, okay? So MIDC said, no, if you sell the MIDC plot, then it has to be sold to me and then I can sell it back to the other guy. So then people started selling the company. I sold the company. So MIDC got wised up and said, if there is a change in control on that plot, then you have to pay me the difference. So there is a change in control clause which will be there. Supposing you have a contract with a supplier, or in a PPA there will be a change in control. So today I am getting a discount, but it says that if tomorrow there is a change in control, that discount or that terms and conditions are no longer applicable, then you have a problem. So has the change in control cost been incorporated either as a cost of investment or going forward cost? The last is, you know, culture clash, corporate ethics. Now, we are talking about Western culture, Eastern culture, Indian culture, US culture. But tell me, have you come across a merger, in a pure sense, of a South Indian company and a North Indian company? Or even two South Indian companies? Give me one example of two people getting together on an event. Culture. Forget economics, etc. There is a cultural issue. There is a cultural issue. Forget that I don't want to seek control, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But I'm sure economic parameters were important, but there is a cultural issue. So I think we need to be, and there must be corporate ethics issues also, that's a different part. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that, you know, because of this, your projections can also go for a toss. So if you have such type of a valuation to be done, you know, you have to be careful, because you have projected two people to come together, everything will be hunky-dory. If the two people start fighting, 1 year, 2 years, the projections are going to suffer. There is going to be a suffer. And loss of key managers. Again, key example. Two companies merging. Normally say we are mergers of equal, right? So we will share the top management 50-50. So let us say there are 6 top management positions. Manufacturing and marketing and finance, R&D, blah, blah, blah. So 3 and 3 हो गया. 3 or 3 men. Now, what happened? In those 6, you did not have 2 positions filled. So automatically those 2 positions went to me. For the balance 3 out of 4 were your people, whereas only 1 out of 4 was my person. So, for those where there were common people, because of this mathematical formula, you actually lost some good managers who were there with me. You actually lost a good manager who was there with me. And if it's a good R&D person, imagine the impact on the R&D cost. So, what we are saying is that a good valuer is a person who understands and draws people's attention to such issues. This might look frivolous, this might look that you don't want me to make the deal, you are, obstructionist, etc. But a good valuer needs to bear that valuation is not a number crunching. And I think that is the last slide that I have. fairness to all stakeholders is very important, because when you are doing a merger valuation, you have always remember that you have to not only be fair to the public shareholder, but you have to appear to be fair to the public shareholder. And there's a subtle distinction between the two. And the last part is, it's just to say how hard our job is compared to running businesses. Open to any questions.
Excuse me, sir. How would you determine the operating cycle? Now, for the calculation of the discrete, variable. Now, let's say the company is at a growing phase. Do you take operating cycle based on what has happened in the past, or based on the industry?
See, you will have to get comfort with the projection that they're giving. Okay, and one of the ways to get comfort with the projection that they're giving you is the past. It's not the only way. So, let us say there is a significant deviation from the past. Then you ask how they're going to do that and compare it with other companies. So basically they will say that we will do this, and they themselves will give you examples of the industry peers who will justify that. So it is, you are not a technical expert in that. All you have to do is, did you do adequate questioning to get comfort yourself? So can you have a good night's sleep? Baba, I ask for questions. I may be wrong, but I'm reasonably satisfied that no one else could have done a better job than me as far as questioning of these projections are concerned.
So is it, so then it's not necessary that it should capture a cycle. It should be fairly reasonable.
No, these are not cyclical businesses. If you're talking of an IT company and all, these are not cyclical. These are not cyclical, are those natural resource-based companies. Consumer businesses, telecom, they are not cyclical businesses. They may have cycles, but they are not cyclical by nature. Like iron ore prices are cyclical, coal prices are cyclical by nature, oil is cyclical by nature. So cyclical businesses are more natural resources based companies.
So in that case, the discrete period
should capture.
So then, what in the case of these IT companies where there is no cycle?
See, in IT companies, the IT companies have a problem in the reverse area. They can't think beyond 2-3 years. They don't know what will happen beyond 2-3 years because it's very difficult. So generally for IT companies, you get projection more in the region of 3 years rather than 7 and 10 years. Okay. So there again, the continuity value will become an important factor. And there again you have to compare the continuity value multiples versus the existing multiples. So let us say that if today an IT company enjoys an X multiple, should the continuity value after 3 years be higher than the tax? Definitely not. Because there is going to be significant growth in those 3 years. So the continuity value multiple, normally one would expect it not to be higher than that. So that's one test. Now, can it be the same? Maybe because there is further growth available than what is in the 3 years. Can it be less? How less? Etc. So I always tell everyone that numbers tell a story. When you do valuation by various methods, numbers will always tell you a story. You will get a range which is very common across multiple methods. So, numbers will tell you a story. And it's difficult to say what discount. Will it be 10% discount? Will it be 20% discount? Sometimes you can actually go back in the last 10 years of that industry and see how the P multiple or the multiple has declined. And then you say, okay, the multiple, if I follow this trend, the multiple 3 years later is going to decline. So I think those are ways to do it. But as long as, it offers a basic question that higher, lower, and not significantly higher. It can be higher. It can be higher. But then the industry past trend has to show.
Sir, what is your view on how to value this professional firm, where of course you see the revenue or the clientele, but how to build in some uncertainty?
See, the biggest professional services firm is where the intellectual capital is the most important factor. There are two things which enable professional services firm to get businesses. One is the credentials that they have. Okay? So sometimes the credentials are with the firm and not with the individuals. Okay? So many, sometimes when people move from one firm to the other, they are not able to use the past credentials, especially for government jobs and things like that. So that is one part. The second part is that the relationship that the professionals have becomes very, very important. So you may have very strong relationships with certain firms which are there. Because of that relationship, that firm is continuing with you. So definitely you will have that type of thing. Of course, now we have audit rotation. That's a regulatory related restriction that is going to come. So professional services firm, you will have to make an assumption that is it going to continue. That means, are the key managers going to continue? Are the key professionals going to continue? Because professional services firm is the only business where the machines walk out when you switch off the light in the room. Because the whole capital, intellectual capital, hard capital, soft capital, virtually is walking out of the room. So there, if you assume that all the partners would stay, maybe key directors and will stay, then that is one thing. If you assume that, let us say, someone is going away, then that's going to impact the business. And then you make an assumption that because so-and-so is going to go away, I may lose so much of business and things like that. So professional services is very, very people-centric valuation. And in professional services, an acquirer, the buyer gets two things. One, pool of skilled resources, and second, client and client relationships. So both will find some way or the other. So now, as a buyer, I might say, oh, I will be able to, efficiency premium is what you have only a tax relationship, or I will get some consulting relationship, or I will use this for audit. So that is where that efficiency premium concept can come in from a buyer's point of view. And synergy could be that, oh, both of us together will now make a better impact on someone else because you are good in this field, I am good in this field. And that client wanted both the things. So now, because of two of us getting together, because of that synergy, I will win more jobs, which I otherwise would not have won if I was alone. So, see, you'll have to draw certain parallels.
Thank you very much, sir. I think I requested you to speak for about, initially he was to speak for 1 hour, I told him to speak for 1 hour, 30 minutes. He said I'll speak for 1 hour and then 30 minutes for question and answer, but sir, you spoke for 1 hour, 45 minutes and everyone was so much involved. Your expertise and your authority on the subject, I think, was evident from the way you spoke on the subject, and I think you spoke with so much of ease. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. May I request all of you to applaud. We have circulated the suggestion forms or whatever suggestion you have for future programs, kindly share with us and give it to the person sitting out. And thanks all of you for participating in this course, and I hope it has served the purpose for which you had enrolled for this course. And at the end, may I request President to give his concluding remarks.
Thank you, David. This valuation course, the objective of this course was what the people had in mind, that the valuation is the area which very few people practice, and day in day out your clients keep on asking you the questions, and you are able to give it or able to apply the knowledge what you have. So this need to be structured, and this course was thought of. It took the great efforts in designing this course, and even we had some hitch-ups, but that was made up in the last minute changes also, the way we had today. And Rustomje was kind enough to be there in advance. This corporate members committee, though it's been there for members who are corporate, but the activities what the chamber is doing, it's person whether it is in a corporate or in the individual practice or wherever, it applies to each and everyone, because the wide spectrum of the activities what we have. Because if consider taxation, if you are corporate, more or less same things apply, but is there be direct tax, be indirect tax. And we recently started our study group on GST, and we have very overwhelming response for that, and probably we will be closing the enrollment further. Very few seats are left. So even though if you are in corporate, it may be helpful to you, and in practice also this is a new area which chamber always tries to thrive on the areas which are newer in the practice, where you can give better services to your clients in the days to come. With this few words, I thank you all, and one more round of applause for the people for these things. And certainly our speaker is there. Thank you.
Yes.
Friends, I am extremely happy to see young faces more. This is the efforts on the part of the chamber in planning this kind of courses is to keep us updated. I am really very happy to see the very hearty participant on the part of the youngsters, because after 30 years in the practice, by attending this course, I have come to know that for even real estate documentation, there are so many new things which I have come across. And it is my personal request to youngsters that friends kindly take this kind of course as recharging sessions, because once in 2-3 years if you attend this kind of courses, they will really make you recharge about your wealth of the knowledge. And each one of the speaker, if we really look at them, the efforts which they have put in, the kind of material which was available with them, and the manner in which they were trying to present the wealth of knowledge, you will all agree, friends, what they were able to tell us or to disclose to us was hardly 10 or 20% of the tremendous wealth of knowledge which they are having. And this all proves that to reach a particular level in the profession, how much efforts they have made, they have put in, so as to arrive at the present level of expertise. Yesterday when Amish Bhai was presenting so many things, right from one moment, he used to take us totally on a different kind of the issues involved. Similarly, today's learned speaker also is a tremendous wealth of knowledge, and this all, friends, shows us that our involvement in the profession is really an ongoing study. It is a continuous process of learning, and various committees of the chamber are aiming at all that. I must congratulate Vipul Bhai and his entire committee for presenting this course in an excellent manner in spite of several last moment changes. My personal thanks to Vipul Bhai, you and your entire committee. Kindly convey special thanks on behalf of all the participants to all the speakers for the tremendous efforts they have put in. Thanks so much.
The presentation is going